Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talking Money and Stuff with Bob, as I continue showing you my never ending march towards earning enough money in a survivor's IRA to afford that awesome car of my dreams. It was another good week. I just got paid today. It's Friday. Let's see how we did. Altogether, a really good week. As you can see, QDTE returned $47.97, QDTE $35.46, RDTE $44.41. So all three Roundhill ETFs are doing pretty well. I really like the returns I'm getting there. Turning to the YieldMax ETFs, ULTY returned $31.23, YMAG $18.09, and YMAX $47.89. Now, YMAG is kind of the underperforming one in my opinion, but at least $18 is more than I had gotten the week before, and especially more than the week before that, when the return was only about $7 and some change. So that's all right. Again, still not totally happy with YMAG, but that's certainly a better return than before. All told, $225.05. That is my best 1 week, I believe, in a while at least, and I'll take it. I love these weekly dividend payers. I then took these returns and reinvested them back into each ETF, basically dividend reinvestment. And I simply reinvest to the nearest lowest dollar. So if I earned $41.18, I would buy $41 worth of something, and that way keep those extra pennies in the money market in case there's an overage someplace, and that small money market is always going up just a little bit. As you can see, I bought $47 worth of WiMAX, $18 worth of YMAG, $31.04, strange, Fidelity added in the 4 pennies there, of ULTY, $43.98 of RDTE, that should have been $44, $35.02 of QDTE, that should have been $35 flat, and $46.98 worth of XDTE, again, that should have been $47. No matter, just a few pennies. But I've now reinvested that back into each ETF to keep those positions growing and the compounding effect really starting to move. Now, the dividend view is what is really impressing me the most. When I began this covered call journey, I was anticipating making $3,000, maybe $4,000 per year in this account. Now remember, I have 5 years to empty it by law under the Secure Act. So I was looking at maybe $3,000 to $4,000 per year, $15,000 to $20,000 total, taking compounding into effect and dividend reinvestment into effect. But now I'm looking at that number, and it comes to a grand total of $19,256 per year. Now, I don't expect that number to remain there. Obviously, returns will go up and down. The prices of these ETFs will go up and down as I reinvest, and that will alter the rate of return. So that number is not set in stone, and I'm not holding fidelity to it. The important thing to me is that number keeps going up, that yearly amount continues rising little by little by little. And that means that I might be able to reach my goal of being able to afford that amazing car when I have to empty this account out in 5 years. In a later video, I'll go over some basic investment goal setting. In other words, how I set my investment goals. And you're free to copy it or not. Remember, none of this is investment advice. I'm simply passing on what I'm doing. But I would like this account to have a secondary goal beyond simply being able to afford a great car. And that secondary goal is paying my taxes in retirement. What I hope will happen is that in 5 years, when this account transitions from a tax-deferred IRA into a taxable account, my hope is that it will be able to have enough of a high rate of return that I can simply use the returns from this account to pay my state and federal taxes. I would love to not have to dip into my teacher's pension or my savings or my other investments in order to have to pay taxes. I got hit with a massive tax bill this past year, close to $15,000. I guess that means that I'm doing something right. I'm making money, and both state and federal governments came after me for their money. Remember, it's not your money. They view it as their money. I got hit hard. Okay, fine. I'd love for eventually this account to be able to handle that, to be able to not only make money, but be able to pay all of my yearly taxes. So that's a secondary goal for this account. I don't know if I'll be able to if I'll be able to achieve that or not, but that's certainly something that I'm looking for. So that's it for this week. Just a brief video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you'll subscribe and watch me on this journey. Remember, none of this is investment advice. This is just what I'm doing. This may work for me, it may not. You should always do your own research and potentially consult a qualified financial planner licensed to work in your jurisdiction. And remember, never simply copy what someone else on the internet is doing. You need to make your own choices and your own decisions. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Bye-bye.